Hey guys, and welcome back to another video here on my channel. So, happy holidays to everybody because it is the 21st of December today when I'm recording this. So, I don't want to say Merry Christmas, I don't know if you guys celebrate Christmas, or just say happy holidays and just like a generally happy kind of time. So I'm here doing not a Christmas house, but I'm doing some Christmas videos this, in the next 4 days leading up to Christmas. And I am in Windenburg today building a very cute, picturesque, kind of fantasy, I suppose, cottage. I did actually call it Fantasy Cottage because it just looked so picturesque when I was done with it. I had actually built this cottage prior to recording this. I just sort of went in with, I didn't really know what I wanted to build. I started building. I wanted to use a bunch of the new objects that came with Get Together, because obviously there's a lot of new Tudor objects that come with Get Together, and I just thought they looked so amazing. So I kind of went in and just started playing around, and I thought I really like this house, so I kind of got rid of it and then started all over again with some new ideas added in and with some old ones as well. So as you can see, I'm using all these new windows. I just really love this Tudor style. I actually live in England, and I live in a really sort of old-fashioned kind of town. Well, not old-fashioned, but it's an old town. So in my main town there is a lot of Tudor buildings, a lot of Tudor buildings. So I'm really used to seeing this kind of architecture everywhere I go. So and I just think it's really beautiful as well. So I really wanted to do something. So I'm so glad that they added this in. It kind of reminds me of like Veronaville as well from The Sims 2. I don't know if you guys played The Sims 2, but I certainly did, and I used to love Veronaville. And yeah, it's good to have that kind of style and architecture back, because we didn't really have it in The Sims 3 too much. I know you could do it with creative style, but obviously in The Sims 4 you don't have that, so it's kind of like, it's nice to have the tools available to do this kind of style. So I kind of went a bit different because I did white columns and like white accents, but I did use a lot of brown and stuff as well. But I wanted to use the white because it made it more sort of fantasy and all that kind of stuff, and it just looks really nice, I think, in the end. I'm just really happy with how it turned out. And it's not a massive build, but I think it does end up quite costly because it's definitely not a starter home, although it's only one bedroom. I mean, sort of one bedroom. It doesn't even have a bedroom technically because it's kind of like on a mezzanine floor, which you'll see when we go inside. You'll see more of that. But yeah, I just loved how the landscaping and everything turned out. I really wanted to go to town with the landscaping kind of thing, like I said, very fantasy. So I sort of went in and I did all this, and I'm adding all these like new objects, what are they called, like wall sculptures, I think they're called, or the category that they're in is called wall sculptures or something, but all these new flower boxes and everything, and they just looked really awesome. So here you can see I'm doing that that mezzanine kind of floor here, and I had a couple of problems with the roof clipping in, but I just covered the roof up with walls because I wanted it to be quite a small house anyway, so it actually worked out really well where I put the walls. So as you can see, I'm placing some pillars down on the lower floor here, and then those pillars are going to span both floors, and it just looks really nice in the end. I think I actually love the way it turned out. I'll definitely be using this house in some of my gameplay. Like I said, it's definitely not a starter house. You will either have to cheat or save up for this house, and I feel like it's probably best to cheat with this kind of house because it's not a house you'd want to aspire to with a family because it's so small. But I mean, I don't know, if you like playing with 1 or 2 Sims, then definitely go for it, but it depends how you play your game. So I'm using all sorts of Get Together stuff here, so if you don't have Get Together, then this probably isn't the house for you, because I do use wallpaper, pillars, stairs, windows, doors, all different stuff from it. So this sort of main part here I did in like stones or brick or whatever, and then more stones than brick, and then the rest of the house I did in this white and kind of like a brownie, it's like a brown but like a lighter brown Tudor paneling, and I just think it looked really awesome. So then I'm going around and just changing that brown little accent trim to white, just to give a few more white accents, because I thought it looked better with the columns, and because there was so many brown accents on the Tudor paneling. Yeah, that's basically just what I did anyway. And using the new like ivy and everything that's climbing up the side of the house here. So happy that we finally got this, because we did get it in The Sims 3, but it came with a store set, and that didn't come out until like near the end of The Sims 3, so I never really used it. I don't think I even have that store set actually. So happy that we finally got some ivy in the game, because I will be using this all the time. It's so good for like mansions and like even modern builds. I just think general greenery looks good on all houses, because like nature is just really beautiful when you think about it. So here I am. This is the start of the crazy landscaping that this house turns into. I mean, it's not crazy, it's not overboard, but it is really lush. So you can see me here doing a little pathway, getting that sorted out. It's very twisty turny, like I said, very fantasy. So yeah, I got the Windenburg mailbox in there as well because it's so cute. So yeah, I'm just doing some terrain paints and making sure this all looks quite natural, because the that sort of stone terrain paint, that where you paint it out, was like really, really vividly green grass, and in the contrast to the rest of the terrain paint around it, looked ridiculous. So I kind of doled it down with some dead grass and some mud around the edge just to make it look more realistic, and I think it looks really good the way it turned out. So I did a stone edging to either side as well. I don't do the other side until a bit later after I've added a fence, just because I wasn't sure I was going to add a fence and I wasn't sure whether it would look good or... But I mean, it's just about trial and error, and I definitely did try some different stuff with this house. So another sort of massive flower bed over that way. And then round here I do this, and then I completely delete it in a minute because I didn't like it. There we go. And then I add another tree in the front here, and I do a flower bed in a really nice circular little bit here, and then that completely changes as well. Well, not completely, but that area does change. I'm not sure how soon it changes. I think maybe after I add the fence, because I add two little benches in over there, like a little seating area and a little fountain and everything, because I realised that we don't really have any in The Sims 3 there is a decorative sculpture thing that's got like a little it's like kind of a well, kind of like a water lever thing. I don't know what it is, but it looks really cute, and I was trying to find something like that, but we didn't really have anything like that, so I kind of had to make my own with the little fish fountain. So, but I mean, I think it looks nice anyway. So here you can see I'm adding these rocks. I'm leaving a little gap because I wanted there to be benches and stuff in there. And here I'm just trying to squeeze in some plants on that brick wall there, because there wasn't much room, but I felt like it needed something since the other side of the path was so lush. So here I am pulling out a bunch of different stuff that I haven't really looked at too much yet, and here I go in with this fish fountain and that sort of like little, I don't really know what that is, it's just that circular thing. Anyway, I'm surrounding it with rocks to make it, trying to make it look like it sort of was like, it's kind of more natural than it is, as it were. So filling that area with plants and flowers and stuff, and then I'm going to add in a bench here in a second, and then I do actually add one the other side. I'm going to do terrain paint and like a little path to all of that kind of thing. I just want it to be like a little seating area by the side of the house, like maybe you'd want to come and sit out here, I don't know, eat lunch or whatever. It is just benches, but I just thought that the outside of the house was so beautiful that it definitely needed to have some sort of seating. And I do put a dining table in the back as well, so excuse my sniffing, it's that time of year, I'm afraid, where it's cold outside and that kind of thing, but it makes it all so much more Christmassy, so I don't mind. But here I realised that I needed a back door, so I added one in here and did a little side step there to get down, and then I move on to the back. Now the backyard is probably smaller than the front one, I don't really know, but it didn't need to be a massive garden for this type of house, I didn't think. It just needed to be really sort of overgrown and lush and like tended in a way sort of thing, but yeah, I kind of put a bunch of planters and stuff out here to make it look like, because I thought the type of sim that would live here would maybe paint and like play piano and do gardening and sorry, and like to bake and all that kind of thing. Yeah, so it depends, I guess, what kind of sim you want to move in here, but this is all replaceable obviously, so it doesn't really matter. This was just what I had envisioned while I was building it, because sometimes when I do build, I do have sims in mind that I want to build a house for, or that I think would fit well. But yeah, just putting in a tree over there. I try not to go too massive on the trees on small lots, because otherwise they just get in your way when you're trying to play the game, and it can be so infuriating. So I found that one, I thought it fitted really nicely. It doesn't intersect the house at all, so it just works nice. Again, another flower bed over here. In the right hand corner there you can see one of those new bushes that come to get together, the ones that you can go to the loo in and woohoo in and sleep in, but I don't know if your sims will be able to reach it because there are a bunch of rocks in the way. But I was just using it as a space filler, just generally just to, you know, put some plants in, and I just thought it was a nice plant. So there's not actually one of those that you can reach, but I mean, you could always just delete it or put another one in or whatever you want. Or there's loads of them all over Windenburg, so if you were to live here, then you could just go use one of those. So moving in, doing the floor plan, this is, you know, pretty much the floor plan. It doesn't change. It's one big open space, which is not very usual for a cottage, but I kind of divided up the space with these columns and pillars and stuff, because I don't know, I just thought it looked nice. Because it was a small house, I didn't want to do too many hallways and stuff. I think it would look too cramped, as this makes it feel really homely and stuff without it being cramped, if that makes any sense. So anyway, I just really like the way it looked. So I went for like white cabinets here. I wanted to stick with those kind of white accents while it being lots of browns and stuff, but in the end I do actually change that to be all brown cabinets and like brown woods and stuff, just generally because with all the white furniture I had going on it looked too white, so I do change that up and I think it looks better for the change, to be honest. So here I'm adding in like this little side area where I've got like a what's it called, like a tea serving set, because I just thought it'd be like a side for making tea when guests came over, and I put in a new little shelf from Get Together that has lots of different sort of pouring jugs and all that kind of thing on it. I just thought that was the kind of thing you'd find in a house like this, to be honest. So just sort of looking around the house, just making sure that I've got all the rooms, because at the end I do actually forget about the bathroom, nearly. I think, oh my god, I haven't left enough room for the door, but I do find a little space just near the stairs for it in the end, so that's alright. Doing a sort of entrance foyer area here, this is sort of a weird area. It does develop over time. It was kind of like an empty space, because on the right hand side I wanted to put the living room or the lounge or whatever you want to call it, and on the left the dining room, which I do. But this kind of foyer area was just sort of nothingness in it, but I do actually end up putting like a little miniature sort of study nook in here. And yeah, we're moving on to the dining room next to the kitchen. I wanted to do a big table because I thought maybe you'd prepare on this table as well as dine at it, and I did a delicacy and I used mismatched chairs, because mismatched chairs is not really a thing I would do, because I'm a bit OCD when it comes to stuff like that. Like, I would like them all to be matching, but I just thought that is the kind of thing you'd find in a fantasy type cottage like this, and I just thought it was so much fun. So we do go through a bunch of different chairs, and I do go for these ones first and try to give them all sort of warm colours, but in the end I do have to just have my way a little bit with it and do a sort of like I do make all the chairs like a darkish wood with a cream coloured cushion, and I think it looks better for it, to be honest. So yeah, we will come back to that, because I just wasn't happy with this. Here I go going through changing it, and I think it looks better like that in the end. And then I do actually like change a bunch of change where the chairs are on the table, just because it was bugging me, but we do stick with those, and I think it looks cool to have some mismatched stuff in there. So adding a few bookcases in here, or just the one, and a reading chair, just to fill up the space. And again, like, I just think they'd have a lot of cookbooks and all that kind of stuff, so definitely be a bookshelf in the kitchen. And here I am changing those chairs, like I said, just giving them all that sort of, I give them a brown texture actually. And here we go, changing the kitchen, like I said about earlier, just to that more brown, and I think it really makes it feel so homey and like cozy in here, which is just what you'd want from a cottage if you ask me. So adding in an accent wall here with, I do change that to brick, and that's where the fireplace goes, because I felt, and I actually placed the chimney, I do believe, on the right side of the house, which was actually coincidental, because obviously it doesn't matter where you place the chimney in The Sims 4, because it's just decorative, but it just turned out that I placed it, I think it is right above the fireplace, so it worked out quite well. So I'm adding some curtains in here. Curtains were a bit of a nightmare because I used a bunch of different windows, so I couldn't be consistent. I think we go for like a darkish green in here. Yeah, there we go, which kind of makes it look a bit fancier than I wanted it to, but I think it works because it's kind of like a separated room, because I put that separation wall in. It works quite well, like it could be a bit fancier perhaps. I didn't want to use everything from Get Together. I nearly said Get to Work, that is so confusing. So I did use a base game sofa, and then I'm just adding in some cabinets and stuff here. I wanted this room again to look sort of very cramped and like there wasn't a lot of room, but it was super cozy by the fire, and I think I achieved that. I think it just looks really sort of warm and inviting. So I try not to use any lamps or anything around. There is no like computer or TV, because this is like a fantasy cottage. Not saying that it's like, sometimes I do put stuff like that in because it's for like playability, but I just didn't in this house because I just thought it looked better without it, to be honest. So here you can see I'm adding that little reading nook like I said about earlier, and it does fill that area up quite nicely, I think, and I added a little quill there for a bit of I don't know, really just authenticity, I guess. So adding like a little mirror by the front door and a lamp, just so you can check yourself before you leave, I guess. And then I'm going through and adding like a lamp and a bunch of plants in here. I used those sort of watering cans. I used a different type on the dining room table because I thought that's definitely the kind of thing you would see in a house like this. You know, like a watering can full of flowers that's come fresh from the garden, because there are plenty of flowers in this house. So finding a picture to put here, I find that new one from Get Together. Again, there are a lot of Get Together content, a lot of Get Together content in this build, because I just wanted to use a bunch of the new content and I had a great time doing it. I would definitely recommend Get Together for the build items alone. They are so great. I really enjoyed building this house. So here I am just looking at an overview. Obviously changed my music or something there, hence the pause. And then we will go upstairs and do the bedroom, which again is like this sort of mezzanine floor, but I just really like the way it turned out. So there's a little reading nook over to the right hand side, which I really like. You could just sort of look down on top of everything while reading. And then yeah, so that is pretty much the house. If you'd like to download it, you absolutely can. You can use the hashtag EndlxssSims or Endless, or it is called Nowhere Fantasy Cottage, because the lot was called Nowhere something before, so I sort of incorporated that. My download links are in the description. Please like this video. If you'd like to see more content, then subscribe. Again, I'm going to try and get another Christmassy type house out. I know this wasn't Christmassy, but I just felt like it was warm and cozy, which fitted the theme of Christmas quite well in my opinion. So yeah, I hope to see you again soon, and I will talk to you later. Bye!